Hey, welcome to this edition of Man Cave Technology. Today, the FAA drone rule has been struck down in regards to registering your drone. So we're going to take a look and talk about that. Also, DJI has introduced the Spark, so we're going to talk about that. And our favorite, maybe some people's not favorite, but YouTuber Casey Neistat is finally under investigation by the FAA, or so he says in a video. It could just be for attention, but we'll talk about that as well. This week we have crazy news, something I did not even anticipate. I came in the office, Ryan said this had happened, that the FAA drone registry has been struck down, which I don't know, we'll argue if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I personally don't like having to register something like that. What do you guys think? Is this Ryan's trying to recover from my overexcitement?
That was a little much.
What do you guys think? Do you even care?
Well, of not having to register your drone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fine thing as long as they maybe put restrictions on zones where you can fly them. Not necessarily like, I don't care if you own a drone as long as you're not flying in my backyard, you know?
Yeah, I think that the non-registration will have more people, like it'll bring the drones even more and more into the United States. I think it's a good move.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I think the registration is like a Nazi Germany kind of move, because do you register your kitchen knives?
No.
And you shouldn't be throwing those anywhere, should you?
True.
So it's just
not wrong.
One more area of overregulation, and it wouldn't be a thing if you maybe registered to say, hey, this is a good idea, so we know who's responsible for, flying over whatever. But they want money, and they want $5.
They do want $5
with this ban on their own system. I think that's the only fail in the entire system. Is, hey, we're gonna get rid of the $5, but we're also gonna get rid of the recording system. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like completely. So they don't even know who has a drone, because they can't just go down to Best Buy and ask who bought the drone.
But they don't know who has a fork and who has a knife and who left.
True. I mean, we're talking about airspace here, so it's a little bit different. I mean, if you go for like, this is bigger obviously, but if you go for like a small like pilot plane, like a Cessna or something, I mean, you have to be on record for that.
Right.
So they're trying to do the same thing.
I think the minute that you go into the airspace that is occupied by other planes with people in them, I think you really do need to register and actually have a flight plan.
Well, are planes with people in them supposed to be flying at 300 feet above your backyard?
Exactly.
True. And this is what we were talking about a little bit. It's like now people really do need to look out for drones, and they shouldn't be above 400 feet, but they often are, so be on the lookout.
Exactly, yeah. So how do you regulate that, though? I mean, how is the government going to protect that airspace?
$1,000 fine.
I mean, I think just in the same way that the police can come and fine you for throwing knives into the street, someone can come and say, you can't be flying your drone here. But the registry, the reason I think it's a little creepy is because, one, they're taking $5 and what are they doing with it?
Yeah.
And then number two, it's like, what good does that do? Like, I've met people who show me their registry as if now they are an official pilot. And I'm like, all you did was register your piece of plastic so that when it blows in a window, someone can find you.
Well, I think it's more like fireworks. Like in Oregon, you can't have off the ground like mortar fireworks. Yeah. People still do, and if you get caught with them, you get fined a bunch of money. Most of the time, you just get warned, and then they're like, okay, you got to shut this down. And I think that could be more the way drones would work. Is like if they catch you flying your drone where you're not supposed to be flying it, they fine you. But I don't think you have to register to buy one. Like, that just seems...
To even fly it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to even fly it. Because, like, I should be able to fly my drone in my backyard. Or if I own, like, 100 acres, I can just go fly the drone, and I shouldn't have to register to fly it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that this brings up a really good point on how the FAA has to go forward. We're either going to do one of two things. We're going to go round circle. We're going to get back to, like, hey, you have to take a test, kind of like a driver's permit almost.
Right.
And then pay $25 and then you're good, or $5 again, or whatever the heck they want to do, and it will be a little bit more rigorous, so less bad people with drones or people that are just being done with drones will actually get drones, and they'll go through that. Or we'll go to the other state of where it's just free open land and there's a lot of problems, and what they'll do is just have huge fines. You know what I mean?
Right. And this does not affect, just to clarify, this does not affect commercial
Only recreational.
Only
Correct.
recreational.
Yeah. And I think it really needs to be dependent on the weight of the aircraft because a little dinky drone that weighs maybe half a pound, it could hurt you maybe, even if it's in free fall.
But so can a baseball. Yeah.
But think about like in any system that's a pound or greater. If the rotors are going so fast that they can cut you, I mean, I think
There's something to that.
And to clarify, you do clarify. That was funny. You do not need. Obviously, you do not need to be flying a drone near an airport or a place where planes are landing or taking off or a hospital or all of these places. But I think the question comes in is, was this actually preventing people from misbehaving anyways?
Yeah, I don't think so.
And it was just kind of this weird.
I think it was more of a legal deal.
It's like $5.
I think this is a hidden. I think this is a hidden tax, and I'll keep that ground for sure.
Wow,
that's your government standpoint.
Thank you for the vocab.
Yeah, I do think that there needs to be ways to advocate for people to responsibly fly drones. And I'm a part of a group, and I always cringe when I see people doing really stupid stuff like flying around airports and being hazardous and over a bunch of people, because I don't want this to go away. And I do think that better than the drone registry would have been a people registry of, like you were talking about, of I've at least passed some basic knowledge. I can prove that I know these things and know what the laws and the rules are. And then here's my certificate that says I can fly a drone.
Yeah, almost like a really, really chill. I mean, we were talking about ham radio licenses a while ago, but even like a really chill ham radio or driver's license. Yeah. Something that's super easy, anyone can do, but you need to go through the steps. And I think that will like dissuade all the people who are just getting a drone to do stupid stuff. I mean, there'll still be dumb people in the world, but you know what I mean.
So it would just be a quick little thing that you could just do online real quick.
Yeah, it could almost be like what is that, like food safety course type
thing?
It's like just use
exactly.
common sense, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what is the FAA doing right now to now that their court deal lets them know that they can't do that anymore?
Well, what I just read said that basically they are reviewing the information before they take next steps. Their registration site is still up and going, still telling you that you must register, still charging you $5. So once again, and they've done a lot of these things that are in this tricky zone. For instance, they came out with an advisory that I think said that now you need to go to their website if you want to request to fly in like a Class D airspace, as where the law or something. I was listening to something. It's kind of confusing, but you can still call the airport control tower and they have ultimate say over it. But yet they were saying go to the portal, and they've been very confused. I think that it's the combination of technology with government regulation, and it's not good.
Yeah. Well, especially with like the FAA and how airspace works and the law and everything and how that all intermingles. It's super, I can see their standpoint, it's super hard to try to regulate something, but also, because I'm sure the FAA doesn't want to just not let people fly drones. They love drones, they love planes, they love helicopters. They want everyone to have their license and fly. It's just, how do you make that a nice situation for everyone?
Right. And I almost wonder, though, imagine if all of a sudden the entry level price of a Cessna was like $500 and everyone could afford one. I don't think they would no longer be as happy as they are. It's almost been kind of a thing that you had to have a lot of money, or you had to really had gone through a program to be in the air. Drones give accessibility to people who previously weren't able to do anything in the air. But there is that safety issue. And so I almost feel like they need to say, here's the safety rules. And don't fly above 400 feet. Don't fly near airport. But then once we get to the fact of right now, where if I lift off 10 feet in my backyard, that's technically not okay to do in certain airspaces and all of that. You can throw a football. Do you need to register your football? You see, it's...
Yeah. I think that just because it has the ability to fly really high and do bad things in bad airspace that you're not supposed to be. I think that there's always going to be airspace that you can't fly in. There's always going to be those rules. I think that what they should do is do like the food handler's license, make it really simple, but make you do it. They can still get their money that way. Then, and that will kind of help the entire process. Then also, if someone does do something stupid and they actually do get caught, put teams in place in, every state of the U.S. that basically looks for this type of stuff and investigates it, kind of like Casey Neistat in New York right now, and then go and find those people and take away their drones and go do whatever. Because I can guarantee you, if I said, if you run a stoplight, it's a $10,000 fine, people will be walking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're not even going to deal with it.
Right. And what you just mentioned did come out today, basically when Casey Neistat made a video. And if you don't know, he's a big YouTuber, and he has been flying drones in airspace that he's not supposed to forever, making videos, very proud of it. And finally today, he did a review of the DJI Spark, which we'll talk about in a minute, but he said that he had to go, he was under investigation by the FAA, and he had to leave and go actually out of New York City in order to fly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's interesting. But once again, there's someone who's done really dumb stuff that's heard it for all of us in the name of, profiting for his thing. And I don't have anything against Casey Neistat, but yet, I just fear that it's such a cool thing that overregulation is going to really just mess it up for all of us. And so it's kind of like, I want this good balance between, and we were using this analogy earlier about I said, you can drive your car at 70 miles an hour in the appropriate place, but you can't drive it in like a neighborhood. And because there's been a couple of times that we've been flying and there's just a helicopter zooms through at 300 feet or something. And so there also has to be respect on the other end of like now, as where maybe used to you could fly through and the street was clear and there were no
commercial
kids.
Wise, we're talking
commercial wise. Now you fly over the park and there may be some drones, so you can't just assume that no one else is in the sky.
Exactly.
And where do those responsibilities lie? It's kind of an interesting thing.
It's like, whose fault is it? Is it the drones or is it the commercial?
Right.
And right now, I think what the FAA was doing for a long time before they did their commercial stuff, back in like July of last year, was they put it on the drones being the problem because we have to have commercial aircraft.
And the safety of commercial aircraft is
like
supreme.
Yeah, that is the supreme
everything.
thing versus everything else.
Well, has anyone seen on a map how many different small airfields there are? I mean, just across America, you can go, maybe 15 miles and hit an airport, but you never see it.
Right, and I think that is one of the problems with the whole can't be within whatever. It needs to be like, we need to have a better classification of this is actually used versus I have been in the middle of nowhere where nothing is happening and it's completely flat, yet the app is showing, there's an unmarked airfield over here.
Right.
You can't fly, whatever.
Well,
blah,
and
blah,
it
blah.
actually is a cone, but they don't tell you that. There is a cone of air travel at Class C airspace, but...
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So and along with that, today I'm sure that DJI loves the news that it's easier, you don't have to register a drone, because they just introduced the DJI Spark. So Ryan, maybe fill us in on that, and then let's talk about, is this a good product or not?
Yeah, so the Spark is about as big as your iPhone, so it's really small. It's basically the Mavic's little brother. It has a 16-minute flight time, can travel about 30 miles an hour. It's made for the people who just want to take selfies of themselves. It's $500, kind of this intro price, so you don't have to drop $1,000 on a Mavic or, buy an old Phantom 3 or, even more for a Phantom 4 now. So I think it's a really good marketing decision from them. I think that it's great technology. Has a little bit bigger of a camera sensor than the iPhone 7 Plus, which is great. But again, to me, it is basically a flying iPhone 7 Plus just around for $500. I'd rather just film it with my iPhone, I guess.
I could make it fly for $1.
Yeah, you could just, So
and all the same rules apply to it as everything
with the
else.
Spark. Yeah, the Spark has some cool things with it, like you can take off from your hand and do other things. It is iOS or Android controlled. There's no controller for it, which is cool. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it'll probably become the normal thing as everyone just has more advancing phones. But I think it's really cool, but at the same exact time, I think that it's kind of this like marketing niche where you'll get it for Christmas or something, and it'll be cool for a month or two. I think the Mavic is much better for the actual people who want to get into actually using what they're created for. It's not flying, but it is creating, photography and creating videos.
Right. Well, and I mean, this thing has, so I think you nailed it on the head. This is kind of your drone for everybody, but not for we're not going to go really with accuracy fly far down this river and come back.
Yeah, this is your Walmart drone.
Right. 16-minute flight time, 1.2 miles transmission distance. I mean, there's a lot of cases where I would have lost this drone pretty quick. So you just have some things like that, 2-axis gimbal, but it is interesting. It is cool. We're getting down to that level where
you can actually purchase it without breaking the bank.
Exactly,
and this leads you up because I remember the first time that I got a phone, it wasn't an iPhone, it was some Virgin Mobile phone prepaid from Walmart. And guess what? I loved it, and I loved that, whatever. I really wanted the touchscreen. I got the iPhone. The iPhone cost a lot more money. Maybe DJI is trying to do the same thing.
Right, yeah.
I feel like this is something that you kind of take if you want to go on a hike.
Sure, yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking, is more like if you went snowboarding, this you could even take it up on a lift with you. It's so small, and you like, it's $500, which is a lot of money, but at the same time it's way less than anything else, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I also, one thing that I did notice too is you can change the color of it, which I know is a small thing, but I do think it is cool that you can kind of have a little bit of customization with how it looks.
Well, and if it really takes off, I think that it will be kind of like the iPod Touch when it came out, I think the 3rd or 4th generation, where they had all the colors. And I remember back in school where so many people would just have the different colors, and it was a social thing at that point. Like, oh, I have the blue iPod, or I'm selling the gold one, and you can't get gold ones right now. I think that's kind of, if the Spark does take off, the color thing will be huge.
Right, totally. So it's going to be very fascinating to see what happens with these drones.
Yeah, definitely.
And we will definitely keep you updated and let you know what is going on. So, hey, thank you for watching this edition of Man Cave Technology. Please subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos.